If your blog doesn't have these 7 pages, it's doomed. Let me save you from destruction on today's episode.
This episode is brought to you by EasyPay Direct, the payment processor for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs. Get the lowest processing fees in the business by visiting servenomaster.com/EasyPayDirect today.
Are you tired of dealing with your boss? Do you feel underpaid and underappreciated? If you want to make it online, fire your boss and start living your retirement dreams now, then you've come to the right place. Welcome to Serve No Master Podcast, where you'll learn how to open new revenue streams and make money while you sleep. Presented live from a tropical island in the South Pacific by best-selling author Jonathan Green. Now, here's your host.
I'm hanging out in my upstairs area on the deck so I can see the wind in every direction. That's because it's been raining like crazy today. And although I was about to record in the garden, I got worried that rain would strike and catch me. And so I'm up here instead. And right now, none of the roosters are going off, which gives me high hopes. Maybe the rain will keep them quiet, but usually that hope turns out to be a failure. And as always, I appreciate you spending time with me, hanging out in my garden, listening to the real sounds of tropical life, where we talk about taking your business to the next level. And today, we're talking about your blog. I've been rebuilding my blog for years. And we've gone through massive structural changes. And I've done almost everything myself or through small contract work over the course of my entire career. Only in the past year have I hired an actual developer who could do fancy coding stuff and things in the back end that are beyond my ability. So believe me, I know a little bit about bootstrapping a blog because that's where most of us start. We'd rather invest time over money when we're figuring things out, and that's absolutely fine. Your blog is the centerpiece of your website. It's the piece de resistance. It's the attractor. I was talking to my friend Chris last night, and he has a single article on his blog talking about a toy because he has a blog about backyards and toys for kids. It's making $100 a day from a single article. That's amazing. We aren't very interested in websites. When we're visiting, we're spending time on our own and going to different locations, we're very rarely drawn to the homepage of a website unless you're already searching for that specific company, whether it's a specific product or a specific need. Unless you're laser focused and go, I'm looking for Grammarly, I'm looking for ProWritingAid, I'm looking for email software, you're probably going to end up on a blog post or an article. The majority of the content on the internet, whether you're visiting a news website or someone telling stories about their dating life and everything in between, those are blog posts. There's no difference between a news article and a blog post as far as the internet and search engines are concerned. There's a range of trust factor and there's a range of how much opinion or subjectivity is in the article, but otherwise they're on the same spectrum and the difference isn't that great. The purpose of your blog is to bring in that traffic, and that's what a lot of those articles are going to do, and that's how you get more attention for your business. When people find me through my website, if they don't already know who I am, they're doing a search, and one of my articles or blog posts or podcast episodes is the answer to that specific question. And that's just the beginning. That's how we start, but we need to add pages beyond that are static. Blog posts, each one is new, and I have hundreds and hundreds of posts on my website. I don't know exactly how many it is now. It's north of 400, but I don't count them. I count the podcast episodes, but the blog posts aren't numbered. And I want to start with the first one that we all think about. Almost all of us have this. Unless your homepage is a straight up blog, you probably have a homepage. And then your blog, like me, is at servemaster.com/blog. So you have the blog at the blog page. The purpose of the homepage is to get your primary message across. So we start with this idea of who are you? What is your site about? What is your core principle? Who is this website for? You want to answer these questions in as few words and images as possible. This is a website about podcasting. This is a website about the news. This is a website about the news for people on the left politically. This is a website about the news for people on the right politically. What people want to know is, am I in the right place? I've gone through multiple revisions of my homepage. The biggest mistake that I'm the king of making is having too much information on the homepage. It's a mistake that I make. We want to simplify as much as possible. My website, my training, it's not primarily about authorship. Many of my followers are authors and they're trying to build careers as authors, and that's wonderful. I'm not against that. But what I teach is about business, not authorship. It's slightly different. I want any author who's following me to make enough money from their books that it becomes their primary income stream. And that's different. So I try to make my homepage messaging clear. Hello, welcome to Serve No Master. This is a place where you can learn about quitting your job, taking control of your financial destiny, and living wherever you want to. That's my core message. And I want that to come across in the imagery in the homepage. If you visit my homepage, hopefully that's the message that you're getting. Additionally, the second thing your homepage should do is create your desired action. Unless you're selling a specific product or a single piece of software, your homepage should be where you get a lot of your subscribers. And you can do this in the form of a survey funnel, which we talked about in several previous episodes about surveys and quiz funnels, or it can be a free gift. For a long time, my homepage, and then it rotates all the time. So on the homepage, sometimes it says, you want to join a family, a community where you can get support as you're on your journey, so you don't have to go alone. You can learn how to escape the 9 to 5 with people that are surrounding you and loving you and giving you the support and giving you advice and wisdom to help you succeed. Well, join us. We want to hang out with you. Enter your email address, and we'll send you the private link to our group right now. Sometimes, and this depends on testing, so on different days, you'll see different versions. We're always testing different homepage versions and split testing. This is a big part of what we're revolutionizing. It will say, hey, if you don't have a product, you're not making enough money. Why don't you let me go over the 7 myths that have kept you from building your first product? Let's go over the 7 things that are holding you back from creating a digital product and making money online. Let's break through that barrier, because I love talking about product creation. And you'll see as we move forward, there are going to be more and more tests of free gifts about extreme giving, whether we give away my book, Extreme Giving, or some of the mini guides. We're going to say, hey, the more you give, the more you get. Let me give you something and show you how powerful giving can be. What's your email address? So I can give you more gifts than you could ever imagine to help you take control of your online business. So we're testing different versions, but the idea is that you want to use your real estate to do 2 core things, and they're really in alignment. It's tell people what you're all about, and if people fit into that category, to ask them for their email address. So we're really taking people through a process. It's a filter and then a call to action. Are you in the right place? If you are in the right place, join my group. It's an if-then. Do not bury the lead. Remember, we're all about building that mailing list, because that's how we're going to generate most of our revenue. So 90% of the time, and for 99% of the people who listen to this podcast, the correct answer is to capture that email address. And there's different ways of doing it, but that's the core idea, and we can test those different ways. But our homepage should really say who we are, what we're about, who we're messaging to, right? So people get a feel, okay, for example, we look in more detail, and you're more than welcome to go to ServeMaster's homepage. You'll see that it's very specific style of artwork. And that specific style of artwork is intentional, because I want to pull in people who like it and push away people who don't, because it tends to pull in people that are over 35 and push away people that are under 35. Not always. There are some people that are into retro artistic stuff, but it definitely ages me. If I wanted to attract a younger crowd and still do comic stuff, what I could use is a more modern comic book, Japanese anime style, a manga style, which is what Japanese comic books are called. And younger people who are of that crowd will recognize it, but that's not my audience for this business. So we can do similar things, but attract different groups of people. You can go for a really sleek design, and the colors can speak to different groups of people. So the more you know who you're talking to, the more you can sift them in or out with the colors, with the design, with the words, with the structure. So they go, oh yeah, this looks like my kind of place. Or no, this isn't for me. I'm in the wrong place. Second is the About Us page. Who are you and why should I listen to? This is where you're going to put your biography, your company's mission statement, talk a little bit about what you believe or what you teach or what your backstory is. This page gets read a lot more than you realize. Now, when you go beyond this, and this is kind of a bonus, is then you can add a new page that says Our Team, where you add in your extra team members. And this is a extra variation on the About Us, but when you add in the extra team members and you show that you have workers and people on your team, then you'll be seen as more of a business and less of a fly-by-night or a blog. And that means you're more likely to get attention from your blog posts. People will link to your blog posts. If you write a really good authoritative blog post, a lot of companies like Duffington Post, one of the things they look at is to see, do you have a page with a list of the employees at your company, even if it's just you? And that's where you kind of list a couple of pictures and your biographies. So for me, the About Us page is really just about me, the About Jonathan page, because that's who people really want to hear from. The rest of my team is behind the scenes. I do want to give them credit. And that's why we went through the entire process of creating an Our Team page. Each person has a couple of pictures that we had modified into cartoons to match our style, so we all look cool. Actually, I just saw the new picture of our developer, and it looks really cool. It came out so good, I'm a little bit jealous. Sometimes the pictures that they send of me make me feel not very good about myself. So he got a really good one. I'm excited about that. I can't wait for you guys to see that on Our Team page. And by having that page, they go, oh, they list team members. Team members have names. They get a little biography. We get to list their titles. I want to give them a little bit of credit. So the About Us page is really for your customers, and the Our Team page is more for business to business, or get corporate visitors, or if you're getting visitors from news organizations. That's how you add a little bit more authority to your site. So the About Us page is not as much your biography as it is bringing people on a story where you tell them your hero's journey. Here's where I came from. Here's where I got to. If you hang out on this website, here's what you're going to learn. So it's not really your biography. It's more of a sales story. You're bringing people in and say, hey, I used to be like you. I'm not like you anymore. If you want to be like me and you want to learn this, you're in the right place. And on each of these pages, we want to have some form of a call to action. And so on your About Us page, you can ask for an email address. Say, hey, if you want to learn more, if you want to get my awesome guide to really get a feel for what I believe in, just enter your email address right below. Then third page is the Start Here. Now, these are in order of popularity. Usually people visit About Us or Start Here. If you don't have an About Us page, which a lot of people don't, then it will go Homepage, Start Here, and then Toolbox, which I'll cover next. But the Start Here page is surprisingly popular. I'm continually having to upgrade and tweak it to really refine, because that's where people go, hey, I don't want to read your most recent blog post because I'm a beginner. Where do I start? A lot of you have probably engaged with my content that way. If this is the first time you've ever heard me, you might be listening to this episode to see if I'm any good. But the next thing you'll do is go back to episode 1. How do I know that? That's what I do. That's what I do with everything I listen to. I like to listen in order, especially because if you listen in reverse order to this podcast, it'll be weird. I reference previous episodes you won't have heard of. I was thinking about this the other day, that like, what if I've never watched the Game of Thrones TV show. I read the books, and I thought, what if I watched as a entertainment podcast, what if I watched the episodes in reverse order with my wife and then we discussed each episode? She would be perpetually baffled because she hasn't read the books. And I would be pretty baffled because I only read the first 3 books, and I think there's 5 or 6 now. So definitely for the final seasons, I'm like, what is going on? Who are these characters? I don't remember who they are. Everything's out of order. Most of the characters that I remember died probably in books 4 and 5 anyway. So doing it in reverse order, it's funny because you won't know what's going on, but that's how people engage your content. People read my blog, do the same thing. They want to watch in reverse order the first time they visit, and then we'd go to the most recent. So we want to make it easy for those beginners to get in, especially if you teach multiple things, if you have multiple buckets. Let's say you teach fitness. You can say, start here. If you're a man, these are the first 3 posts you need to read. If you're a woman, these are 3 posts you need. And you can even have it split up. There's a real big difference, I'm learning, between going to the gym when you're 20 and going to the gym when you're 40. I'm continually having to talk to my personal trainer about damage and recovery. When I was 18, I could put 3 hours in the gym, be fine the next day. That's not how it is anymore. That's part of the journey of life, but things are a little bit slower. You probably know what I'm talking about. We do things differently, and I'm better at different things than I was when I was younger. And I apologize, guys, if you can hear the roosters going crazy. When it was raining, they did get quiet, but now they're all talking to each other. And it's just island life. That's just reality. And we do our best. Gene, my amazing video and audio engineer, he does his best to remove that background noise. So guys, if the roosters are not distracting, if he's done a good job of blocking them out, why don't you give a thumbs up in the video below, or even make a little comment for Gene so he can feel good about himself, because he spends a lot of time fingerprint removing the sound of a rooster. He's kind of become an expert at that. And in case you're wondering, when I moved into this house 1.5 years ago, we didn't have this rooster situation. This is something new, where all of my neighbors decided to invest in roosters. Thanks, guys. With the Start Here page, you can split it into men, women, over and under 40, because what they need is different. People who are under 40 are focused on beautification, health, being faster, looking more attractive, getting bigger muscles. When you're over 40, you're trying to catch up with your youth. It's more about anti-aging. It's more about anti-disease. It's anti-health. Most of my efforts about maintaining my body are not about my attractiveness level. Sure, it's on the list, but it's not at the top. My first list is I want to keep up with my kids. Number 2 is I want to be able to pick up my kids. Number 3 is I want to be able to run up and down the stairs without getting tired so I can run to my kids if they need me. Then it's about my health, because it's not convenient to go to the doctor where I live, so you really have to be in charge of your own health to stay on top of things. Because I've made a decision to live in the middle of nowhere, I can't rely on a doctor to say to me, I got to be in charge of myself so that I stay healthy, so I keep my heart and my body strong. So my priority is different even through my own journey. And of course, men and women have different needs and desires about how we approach weight loss and fitness and what we're looking for. We have different goals. Now, I know it's not always different. My friend has a girlfriend who's very, very seriously into bodybuilding. She can tell you all the top competitors around the world in every single division, and she really wants to get huge muscles. So I know that sometimes people aren't exactly in the perfect bucket, but most people, including me, I don't want to get huge. I don't want a 58-inch chest. I don't want muscles on muscles. I just want to be lean and healthy and look a little bit cute for my wife. So your Start Here page can be a page where you sort people. On the home page, people find out, yes, I'm in the right place. On the About Us page, they say, okay, this is someone I want to learn from. I dig what they're teaching. On the Start Here page, they go, here's where I should learn based on what I need. On my Start Here page, you'll notice I sort into what you're trying to learn. If you come to my website and you just want to learn about blogging, well, let me take you to the blogging Kickstart page. And so eventually you have a sub page for your different buckets. But at first you just say, okay, here's the blog posts in those categories. And you send people to that category page. So if someone says, I want to learn about podcasting, they go to all my posts about podcasting, setting up a studio, which tools I use, how I got started, the difference between my studio in my room and my walking studio that lets me be outside. Those articles are what you're going to see. If you go to my blog category, what are you going to see? Well, which blog hosts I recommend, getting started with WordPress, choosing a name, should you have a sidebar, any topic like that that's about blogging. And so you get the targeted content that meets your need. And the easiest way to do that is just by having different categories. So while I have a lot of tags for my posts, the categories are really limited. I try to really keep everything within those 8 key categories. The 4th page, Toolbox, is critical. If you don't have a toolbox or a tool page or a favorite tools or a resources page, you need to build this first. It's the 4th most popular, but it's hands down the most profitable page. People will visit your website, and if they like you, they like your content, they will check out your Toolbox page and go, what do you use? How do I know this? Number 1, I read an article several years ago that taught me this lesson that said, if you don't have a Toolbox page, you need to get one. And I immediately went out and spent a lot of time on it. The art on my Toolbox page is the most complicated of any page on my website. I have custom artwork for every single product, service, tool, training course, resource that I recommend or mention. I was one of the first people invited to my bank's affiliate program. Why? Because they messaged me and said, hey, we're interested in knowing about your experience with Novo. It's the name of my bank. Would you be interested in hopping on a phone call with us? And I go, absolutely. You know why? Every single time I withdraw money from a foreign ATM, I get charged $5 by the local ATMs here. At the beginning of the next month, Novo gives it back every month. That's not listed on their website, by the way. When I signed up with them, I was just happy not to get a second fee from them. My previous bank, Chase, would charge me $15 extra for every withdrawal. So not only am I not being charged 15, I get the 5 back. That's every time I use the ATM, Novo basically pays me $20 over my previous bank. I'm ecstatic by that. They meet my need. Everything is done within the app. When I email them, they're very responsive. I've had very few problems. Being abroad with some of my bank accounts, I've had to call the bank a dozen times a week, every week to go, guys, I'm still abroad. I live abroad. I'm not on a trip. It's different. I have a home base and an address and a business address in America, but this is where I am. What did I do as soon as they invited me in that affiliate program? I had custom artwork drawn to go on that page. I have a custom version of their logo that matches my style. And then I have the larger image that's a picture of me standing in front of their logo when it's a featured image at the top. You guys can hear the kids in the background. Sorry, they're 20 meters away, but they're having fun in the playroom and I can't stop them. They're having a good time and I want them to have a good time. And if you didn't hear them, that means Gene did a good job of blocking the background noise. So it's a second chance to give Gene a thumbs up, especially if you're watching this video on YouTube. The Toolbox page is where you're gonna list every single tool, resource, program that you use and make sure you embed your affiliate link. You want to get credit. Now, not every single thing and product on my Toolbox page has an affiliate program. If I use it, I still list it. And things will change. Over time, you'll discover what your affiliate unicorn is, and that should be at the top. That should have a bigger banner. That should have a custom image so that it really matches you in your branding, and that you can even get searches from people who are doing like an image search for the company's logo. They'll see your little image. You want all of those things to really bring people into your page. So whatever is generating the most sales, that'll go at the top. Some things I have listed, no one ever clicks on them. They look at it, they go, okay, interesting. Very rarely are people do people buy a microphone just because it's on my Toolbox page, because what I use is what I use, but I don't really talk about it. I don't do microphone reviews. There are other people, that's their specialty. So you might see that I use it and then go read someone else's review, and that's okay. But I get a lot of clicks when I talk about my email provider. I talk about the web hosting I use. I talk about some software tools that I use. So certain things get lots and lots of clicks and lots of attention. So I move those up the page because you want to maximize your revenue. So you'll say something like featured recommendations, and then you just have them by category. That's how I organize it. This page will make you more money than any other individual page on your website. Now, you may eventually have some blog posts that knock it out of the park with a review or an affiliate link or a link to one of your courses and start to generate more money. But over time, consistently, my Toolbox page, it's just a moneymaker. It's passive and it's amazing. You do want to update this page every 6 to 12 months. Just things change. Tools that I used last year, I don't use anymore. We shift a lot of the tools that I use, especially for my blog and search engine optimization, and some of the back-end plugins that I talk about have changed because I now have 2 people on the team that know more about those things than me. So what I was using was good, and they go, here's what's even better, and some things change or new tools come out. Businesses get bought out or go out of business or shift. A big recommendation that I used to give all the time was Descript, which is what I use for transcription. And they had a program where you could get 100 minutes, and I would get 100 minutes of free transcription every time someone grabbed the software. That's an ultimate win. So there's no money in that recommendation. I just get more transcription. Then they changed their model. Now everyone gets 10 hours of free transcription a month. It's an even better resource, but I don't get paid for recommending it anymore because they made their product better. So it's lower on the page, but it's still there. 5th, you want to have a page for your universal opt-in. Your universal opt-in is a page that welcomes everyone, no matter which bucket they fall into. For me, that's at servemaster.com/tribe. If you go to that tribe page, talks a little bit about me and says, hey, whatever you want to learn, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're an entrepreneur, you want to accelerate your business, join our Facebook group, enter your email address. Let's hang out together. Let me help you explode. That's designed to capture everyone, whether it's a man or woman, older, younger, blogger, podcaster, product creator, copywriter. They all fall into that bucket. And this allows you to put links to that page all over your website. Say, oh, if you want to know more about our tribe, just go to this link. This helps you because it's not always logical to just shove an opt-in form in the middle of a blog post or everywhere you're talking about it, right? Sometimes people just want to go straight to that page, and you can link to it from your homepage as well when you're testing. So there's a lot of usefulness for this. This is where I get a lot of people joining my mailing list. The second most common page, after people join via pop-up, via the full screen modals, the second place where people are most likely to join my mailing list is on that page. Those are the two places where people engage with me the most. Your universal opt-in page is a way to say, if you fall into this wide group of categories, so you want to design a universal opt-in first. And if you're just starting your blog, then you may not have this yet. So when you're thinking about what type of free gift should you have, you want to start with something that appeals to a widest audience possible. Now, if you go through my site and you listen to a lot of podcast episodes, watch a lot of YouTube videos, you'll notice I have about a dozen different free gifts. I've developed those over time to match people that are in different smaller buckets. And a great way to start this, and I talk about this, as I mentioned, on the Surveys and Quiz Funnel podcast episode, which I'll link to in the show notes and the description below this episode. You can just ask some questions to pull people into different categories. So you can just have a universal quiz funnel. And so your universal opt-in page might sort people by the end where they go, okay, you're a man over 30, or over 40, this is the free gift you need, right? This is the group you're in, check out this. And so you have a sorting process, but the start of the page is, I want to welcome everyone who fits in here. My universal opt-in page does not welcome people that are looking to lose weight, because I'm not a fitness blog. That's not my niche. That falls outside my bigger bucket category, right? Oh, now it's raining. I thought the rain might stop the roosters, but we have rain and roosters at the same time. Exciting times on the tiny island. Your universal opt-in lets people know the big circle of your Venn diagram. If you fit in here, give me your email address. If you don't, you're probably in the wrong place, but thanks for visiting. Our sixth page, which is critical for blog success, is your top posts page. What are your best posts? What are your most popular posts? And what are your posts that make the most money? If you can pick 3 blog posts for a new visitor to read, which are they? I talked earlier about how my Start Here page can link to a top post page for different categories. That's way down the line. At first, you just want to start with the page that says, here's the most popular posts. Here's the best posts. Here's the premium content. Here's the curated content. Here's the post with the most comments. Whatever it is, there's so many different ways to choose it, but you want to link to the best. What you can do, and I did this for a long time, I had a plugin that would track which posts people read the most, and then those would get pushed to the top of that page. That's an easy way to do it. It's just another way of sorting your content. So we've talked about sorting your content, oldest to newest for beginners, newest to oldest for people that have been visiting you for a long time. And this is most popular or most valuable or most useful. It's just another way to engage new visitors. You go, hey, you might not want to start with beginner stuff. You just want the best stuff. So it's still for a new person, but it's most likely for a new person that's a little bit more advanced or just wants to start with your best to really see, okay, let me see your best trick first. Before I go to your beginner stuff, I want to make sure that your best stuff impresses me. Our 7th and final page is our categories page. Take a look at these. If you have a lot of categories, wow, that rain is really going now, so we're going to wind down, guys. If you have a ton of categories on your website, like 30, 40, 50 categories, then these pages can be disjointed. One thing that I try to do is have one category for each blog post. I don't want the same post falling into multiple categories. So that way, my content really is sorted when you choose a category. We're providing just a 7th and final way for people to engage your content. And the value of your category page is that you can then, after you've developed your universal opt-in, develop a specific opt-in that matches that category. Wow, it's gone full typhoon. It's going crazy. That's so loud. I have a grass roof. You shouldn't be able to hear it. But I'm shouting because I want to close this down with you guys. I'm really excited to see you upgrade your blog. And when you build these pages, I want you to post links in the comments below. Share when you have your Start Here page. Share your Toolbox page because I want to check them out. I want to see what you've done because I want you to upgrade your blog with these 7 key pages.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Serve No Master. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss another episode. And we'll be back next Tuesday with more tips and tactics on how to escape that rat race. Head over to servenomaster.com/podcasts now for your chance to win a free copy of Jonathan's bestseller, Serve No Master. All you have to do is leave a 5-star review of this podcast. See you Tuesday.
fire starts with a single spark, and an army starts with just one fanatic. Start your army with my free guide, How to Get Your First 100 Fans, at servethemaster.com/100.